California natives are very rewarding. You would be surprised at how many varieties there are.
It's like your own private park, your own private preserve. And it's so full of wildlife and so much beauty and so much regional identity that I wonder why it has taken us so long to really adopt this as an idea.
Oh, my lawn before we took it out was a challenge.
Before, I would look out the window and I would have a little sense of dread about the work that needed to be done, the fact that some of the grass was dying, that I was going to have to fertilize or reseed.
When you put in a lawn, you're planning on using 30 gallons of water per 1 square foot per year. In a native landscape, 2 to 3 gallons per year. It's an order of magnitude less. And at the same time, you're getting so much more.
All the different little areas required something different than just grass. How can I turn this to my advantage? And that's really when we started thinking about California natives.
My local water district told me when I first bought the home that there would be some sort of a rebate program within the next year. I was really excited about that because I would love to have some help with it.
I actually looked on the website for the water district. I looked on and started seeing all of the resources that are available to get information for what do you do? And when I went to the seminar, it was explained to me that each pop-up head is putting out as much water as a shower head would. Well, I could be inside and my husband and I could be taking, 5-minute showers to help save water. But every time I turned on the sprinkler, I would have 30 showers being taken in my backyard and my front yard. I mean, that was just astounding.
The process of changing out a conventional landscape or lawn into a native landscape, certainly the first thing to go is the lawn, because to us, ecologically, a lawn is a freshwater marsh. That's where all the water and fertilizer and soil amendments and headaches go into that lawn, okay? And we want to try to change that.
We took it down to the dirt. We took out everything. So we had to kill the grass.
And then we installed all the irrigation, and then they installed all the plants, the creek bed, and all the shrubs. It probably took about a week. So it was an easy peasy process for us. It was great.
And when we design a native garden, we start with the biggest stuff and work down. So we'll start with the trees, and then the big shrubs, and the small shrubs and ground covers. And then finally, we'll add the perennials, which are our little color spots.
As soon as we started moving in all the native shrubs, suddenly we had butterflies, we had finches. It was amazing, and it happens within days.
So we have these nice little walking paths, which is very fun. It's like the mini super bloom that I've got going on in my backyard. I don't have to drive for miles to see it. I have California poppies and little blue-eyed grass, and the penstemons, margarita bop, they're all blooming right now. The maintenance for my California native garden is really so much less than what I had to do for a lawn. I no longer have a weekly gardener. I very much enjoy working on my California native garden.
I walk through and I weed maybe once every 2 months. I do very, very little work. I spend most of my time just enjoying it.
Maintenance throughout the year actually changes on a native landscape. Many of the plants bloom in spring, and so by summertime you are doing what we call deadheading, and that is removing the dead flowers. And that's why we place the perennials right next to the pathway, so you can just reach down and pinch them off, and that keeps it fairly low labor intensive. Other parts of the year, if you have deciduous trees that drop their leaves, once they've dropped their leaves, that's actually the best time to prune them for shape or size or whatever when they're actually dormant like that. During the spring, there's very little that has to be done with a native landscape. Maintenance is more about weeding and that kind of thing, where you've got young weeds coming up with the rain and thing like that. By summertime, that's when you're starting to kind of clean things up, trim off dead plants. It's a year-round garden, and things change kind of with the seasons and with the plants as they progress through the year.
So the most important thing would be to plan the watering at first. After you remove everything, to install a system that waters the shrubs the way that they need to be watered. Natives are not like lawns, and so they need a special sort of a system, and so it's great to speak with a landscape installer who knows what they're doing.
What we found in native landscapes that they actually kind of want to be like Mother Nature. And so we try to create conditions that emulate the natural condition. And so when we water our drought-tolerant native plants, we do it like Mother Nature does, overhead, with very efficient sprinklers. They love it. The drip irrigation we save for more of the conventional plants because it's an efficient way to water plants that like a lot of water. There are also a lot of natives that will tolerate drip and do very well. Our native roses or certain plants that might grow near bodies of water absolutely thrive on drip irrigation. Drip actually encompasses a number of different delivery systems, especially nowadays as it's gotten more sophisticated. And one form of drip that would normally be categorized as drip are called microsprays. And microsprays are actually a very appropriate way to water drought-tolerant native plants, and it's a great way to retrofit an existing drip system for native plants without going to the huge expense of just digging up everything and starting over. Capturing stormwater is a really important aspect in these landscapes.
We were able to reroute the rain gutters to go toward the rain chain. So about half the rain that lands on our roof goes right to the rain chain, which goes directly into the dry bed, and so it makes a creek whenever it rains.
We don't want to just waste this valuable resource. And in fact, nothing is cleaner than rainwater. And when you actually water a native landscape with rainwater, it's like fertilizing it.
My son absolutely loves being outside now. He never wanted to go out in the front yard before, but now we have rocks, we have dirt, we have birds and butterflies flying around. He has such a great time outside, and that's something I never expected. I've been a real estate agent for 7 years. People don't want to have to buy a home that uses a lot of water and that requires a lot of maintenance. Water is very expensive here, and so that's another feature that a home buyer often really likes to see, is that they don't need to start investing in lawnmowers and landscaping and in fertilizers. They can just move in and settle in, and they really don't need to do anything with their native garden.
I would say go for it. There's something about the smells that you have in a California native garden. The sages and the ceanothus, the flowers. I mean, it's California. It gives us a sense of place.
We're forgetting what Southern California used to look like. And now you can surround yourself in this beautiful paradise and create your own wonderful environment right at home, right outside your back door or front door even.
It's just about everyone learning that there is an alternative to having a front yard. You don't have to have lawn. You can have beautiful shrubs that are maintenance-free.